Producing money. She has a sing-song voice. Before Kojo say, Alaski, how are you? Can't you be like Kukui a bit? Kojo, how are you?
Good morning, Bernard.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. No, come on, that's awesome, man. I like that. And I like your Voters Diary polo shirt.
Yes.
It's less than a month to the election.
Imagine.
I keep saying I don't feel it. People think I'm crazy. But I don't feel it. But we'll see. Today we'll take you around quickly the country to let people know how the election is evening out. Today is November 9. Election is December 7. So technically, you have less than a month to the election. Before that, let's get into the newspapers and what they're saying.
Okay, well, the president addressed the nation last night, and we'll talk about that. The Daily Graphic front page, COVID-19 cases rise. Enhanced contact tracing is back. Testing labs will be reactivated, and infectious disease center opens. Okay, and we're 95% ready, says the EC. Also, EU's money laundering list. Government takes action towards country's exit in 2021. That's on the front page of Daily Graphic.
The Ghanaian Times, President's 19th broadcast on measures taken against COVID-19. Government to get tough to prevent further spread of disease. Formina parliamentary seat declared vacant. We are ready for December 7 polls. EC to Parliament. Joe Biden elected 46th President of the United States. And President Akufo-Addo, other world leaders congratulate U.S. President-elect Joe Biden.
The Daily Statesman, COVID-19 cases rise again. And President warns a nation against indiscipline. And we've transformed agric sector. Akufo-Addo touts government's gains. Also, NPP completes 40-year-old Bekwai Hospital.
Now, that hospital was one of the hospitals we captured in our petition to the president, and it's also on the front page of the Finder. President Akufo-Addo inaugurates 40-year-old 120-bed Bekwai Municipal Hospital. NPP undertook 389 injection projects to reduce overload on transformers. This is Dr. Amin Adam at the Seaboard Parliament. It's a political party engagement
on the energy sector.
Yeah. Now, 18% rise in local rice production, increase in yield. Maize is 110, rice is 48%. President Akufo-Addo has been talking about the achievements of his government when it comes to agric. He spoke at the National Farmers' Day. Now, the best farmer is from Jomoro, and he won 570,000 Ghana Cedi House from ADB. There's also news on the banking front. Kofi Adomako is the new MD of GCB.
Okay.
Ghana and Nigeria businesses need to work together. This is Alan, and manual verification will be allowed at December polls. This is the EC.
The new publisher, EC begins printing pink sheets, says Jean Mensah. Akufo-Addo and Rawlings congratulate U.S. President-elect Joe Biden as Mahama looks forward to working with him. Nanado Oke's Formina Hospital project, and woman bites rapist's penis. Yes.
Now, whilst the Formina Hospital project is getting some good news, the MP is not getting good news. The big story on the front page of the Chronicle, Formina MP sacked from Parliament after NPP protest. Americans uproot Maverick Trump like cassava. Hey, Chronicle.
American approved what?
Trump like cassava.
Wow.
Not easy. Electoral materials already dispatched. This is the EC.
The Daily Guide, government arms robbers, claims Mahama. NDC MP sprays cash. I can't deceive you, says Nana. Formina MP sacked from Parliament, as Kojo said. Biden defeats Trump. We were all waiting for that. It finally came. And over 17 million voters in register.
Now, the Ghanaian Observer, Ghana now net exporter of foodstuffs. This is Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo congratulates Joe Biden. Akufo-Addo commissions 40-year-old Bekwai Hospital. And Zoom Lion Ghana grabs Sanitation Company of the Year.
Okay.
The Herald, Nana Akomia's 2016 prophetic words on American election haunt NPP. More dirt out on state-owned Ghana Heavy Equipment Limited as Alan Chermatin and Asabi sleep on their job. Akufo-Addo lauds SNIT management for completing Asokre Mampong housing units, and Nitiwol presiding over wanton sale of military lands is a question the Herald is asking.
Now, the New Crusading Guide, 3 persons arrested by police for selling fake cocoa insecticide. Election 2020 Speaker chases out Formina MP. Residents of Ahafano North want MCE out over alleged involvement in illegal mining and extortion. And the Akufo-Addo commissions 40-year-old 120-bed Bekwai Municipal Hospital.
Business and Financial Times. GEF, that's the Ghana Economic Forum 2020, opens today. Discussions to focus on economic revival. Also, the pandemic provides opportunities to deepen financial inclusion, says the MD of Fidelity Bank. Rural telephony projects connect over 3 million, and Golden Star Resources plan to revert $53 million rehabilitation liability to government.
Now, the Economic Times. Ghana's reserves to climb to $9.8 billion. Turmoil at Tema Oil Refinery. Workers want board dissolved. And economists worried over Ghana's 2021 Eurobond issuance predicts higher yields.
Okay, let's take you online quickly. CitiNewsroom.com. Ghana's active COVID-19 cases now 1,139. Also, 100-bed infectious disease center to be open soon to aid our COVID fight, according to the president. Meanwhile, president is not happy. He says, we are letting our guard down. Other stories on CitiNewsroom.com. We are 95% ready to conduct 2020 poll. This is Jean Mensah of the EC. Citi FM climaxes 16th anniversary with Thanksgiving service. And Nanado wishes Joe Biden well after decisive victory in U.S. presidential poll. CitiBusinessNews.com. We've created vibrant agri sector. Ghana now net exporter of foodstuffs. This is Akufo-Addo. Also, Ministry of Environment launches e-waste incentive payment and improve quality of products to remain competitive. COPEC to OMCs. MyJoyOnline.com. Ghana averaging 130 new COVID cases per day in the past 2 weeks, according to the president. Government to fully absorb electricity bills for 1 million active lifeline customers. Meanwhile, Mahama and Trump come from the same stock. Majority leader predicts loss for NDC. If you go to Star News, Baumia's mocking of makeshift mortuaries in Zongo is shocking. This is Mahama. Also, keep Ghana's peace. Kranchankra charges NDC. And Ghana's COVID cases now 1,156. The story is trending in pretty much every website. If you go global, there's division in Trump's camp over whether to accept the outcome of the result or not. CNN leads with that story. It says, Trump's inner circle divided over path after Biden's victory. Jared Kushner and Melania advised him to accept. His 2 adult sons say he should keep fighting. New York Times also has that story, and he also says Republicans split on accepting Biden's victory. And there's a question, what is next for Trump family? What's next for Trump? Family business awaits his return. That's the story. The BBC is also talking about the U.S. election. Biden pushes forward with plans for office. So for those of you who don't know, on Saturday, Joe Biden was projected and declared by many news houses of international repute to have won the election with 279 electoral college votes. Let's start with Ghana's stories.
All right, so COVID-19 enhanced contact tracing is back. The government has reintroduced the enhanced surveillance of tracing, testing and treatment to curb the rising number of active coronavirus cases being recorded in the country. President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has announced this. Consequently, additional logistics, including vehicles, will be released to the Ghana Health Service to ensure the successful execution of the latest intervention. He also announced that all the testing laboratories will be on alert and the new 100-bed infectious disease center at the Ghana East Municipal Hospital will be operational. Now, President Akufo-Addo expressed regret that he had seen firsthand how in some regions, some residents are abandoning altogether the protocols, such as wearing of masks. Quote, indeed, the high compliance rate with mask wearing by persons surveyed by the GHS in some selected areas of Accra, for example, to which I referred optimistically in update number 15, has, according to a new survey by the same service, fallen alarmingly from 44.3% to 5%.
Wow.
He described the decline in the compliance rate as unacceptable, saying the enhanced hygiene and mask wearing protocols must now be central features of our lives and must continue to remain so for some time until we see the elimination of the virus from our country. So,
the rate of the virus is very serious. According to the president, we are averaging 130 new cases per day, and this is in the past 2 weeks. Then he also extended the package for health workers, which is really good. The incentive package for
all health workers will pay no income taxes for the months of October, November, and December. Again, all frontline health workers, as defined by the Ministry of Health, will continue to receive the additional allowance of 50% of their basic salary per month for the months of October, November, and December. And he urged political party leaders and supporters to, at the very least, wear the mask at all times during political rallies and gatherings ahead of the December 7 polls.
Fantastic news. And the last one is on the infectious disease center. He says that a 100-bed center will be open soon to aid our COVID fight. That story is on citynewsroom.com. It says Ghana's first ever private 100-bed infectious disease center will in the coming days be operationalized to help in the country's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. You notice the project was finished, but there are things you need to stock before you operationalize it. And because of our advocacy over the University of Ghana Medical Center, we learned a bit about how these things work. So the facility will be managed by the Ghana Health Service. The president, in giving his update, said although the rate of hospitalization for infected persons is low, providing healthcare for such individuals remains a priority for the government in dealing with the pandemic.
Right. All right, well, let's go to the EC. We're 95% ready. Bernard, you said you were not feeling the election. Well, the EC says they are almost there, okay? Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jean Mensah, has assured Parliament that the Commission is 95% ready to conduct a successful, credible, fair, orderly and peaceful election on December 7th. The Commission has already procured a wide range of election materials for the 2020 elections: ballot boxes, thumbprint pads, stationery, identification jackets, etc. She gave them the roadmap to the 2020 elections, and she says as we speak, or as she spoke to them, the distribution of those items to the regions and districts was underway. To date, the Commission has also employed close to 233,000 temporary officials made up of returning officers and their deputies, presiding officers, verification officers, name reference officers, as well as COVID-19 ambassadors to make sure that we're all compliant during the 2020 elections. You can read more about this in the Daily Graphic. It talks about the printing of ballots as well, that is still underway, and the notice of poll for the general election almost complete. All right.
Now, more on this, she says that electoral materials have already been dispatched. This is the angle from the Chronicle. And Agnes Ansah writes that aside ballots and registers, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has indicated that all other electoral materials have been delivered to the various regions and districts in the country. The materials comprise thumbprint ink pads, stationary identification jackets, polling station booths, rechargeable lamps, indelible ink, educational posters and seals. She said that their swiftness in the distribution of the items was a result of thorough planning and distribution mechanisms employed by the Commission.
Fantastic news.
Now, still on politics and related matters, Formina MP sacked from Parliament. This is on page 3 of the Chronicle. The story says the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Okwe, on Saturday declared the Formina parliamentary seat vacant. The seat, until the order from the Speaker, was occupied by Mr. Andrew Amakwe-Siama, a lawyer. Mr. Amakwe made his way to Parliament in 2017 on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party and has served as a member of Parliament for the party until he lost his candidacy during the party's primaries and decided to go independent. The leadership of the New Patriotic Party wrote to the Speaker informing him of its decision to expel Mr. Andrew Amakwe-Siama from the party for going independent. Hence, the Speaker's decision to declare the seat vacant.
Parliament itself went on recess, I believe, ahead of the election. So they'll probably have one final meeting before. I don't know. Let's still stay with the Chronicle.
Yeah, well, actually, the Daily Guide actually has that
different
same
angle.
story. But just to add that Professor Okwe referred to the Constitution, Article 97(1), which provides that a member of Parliament shall forfeit his seat in Parliament if he leaves his party, which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament, to join another party, or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member, and that supported the decision to sack
Fantastic
him.
stuff. So let's now move into other areas, Kojo.
Yes, so Friday was National Farmers Day.
Yep.
A lot happened. Ghana is now a net exporter of foodstuffs. That's according to the president. He also says that there's been an 18% rise in local rice.
I want the
production.
rice because you see, a year ago this week, I think was when we began our rice.
Yeah.
And so we can review it, but I just want to know where he got the figures from, the 18% increase.
Okay.
Because I want to trace it to the campaign. So please enter that side for me quickly.
Okay, now the story says local production of rice accounts for 50% of domestic demand.
Wow.
Up from 32% as at 2017.
We thank God.
This represents an increase of 18%. Local production of rice has also witnessed a 48% increase in yields from 2016 to 2019.
Wow.
Data also shows that maize production has recorded a 110% increase in yields from 2016 to 2019. President Akufo-Addo said this when he addressed the 36th National Farmers Day at Techiman in the Bono East region.
Nice.
Now, at the event, a farmer from the Jomoro
Constituency?
district.
District, yeah.
Farmers Day there, we don't do constituency
district,
based.
forgive me.
District, yes. Won the national best farmer. As a prize, he took home 570,000 Ghana cedis. That's the prize money to get him a house.
Okay.
And some other things.
There's a story on the papers where a group is questioning the way the Farmers' Day ceremony and the awards. It's actually in the graphic, I think.
So before we get that, let me mention the name of the national best farmer this week to honor him. His name is Mr. Solomon Kwejokusi. He's a 55-year-old farmer from the Jomoro district of the Western region. And he was adjudged national best farmer. Nana Kofi Drobo, the fourth, a farmer at Wenchi, and Muhammadu Muhammad Awao, a farmer from the northern region, were the first and second runners up respect.
So now the president says we are now next to holders of foodstuffs. So apart from the rice and the maize that have gone up, the Ghanaian Observer is also talking about the fact that we are a net exporter of certain kinds of food.
Yeah,
which
we wanted to know the source of the data.
Yes.
Usually the SRID, which is a research department under the ministry, they put out Ghana's agric facts and figures, like the Ghana Health Service puts out the Ghana Health Facts.
You know, they
figures.
launched the agric census recently as well.
But for the past couple of years or so, I've not seen the document. It's usually published on the Ministry of Agric's website, so you can just go and download. So they should put them out for us so that we can see how we are doing in all the sectors.
So rice production local is 50%, and it also accounts for 50% of domestic demand. What I needed to say was that I think since the campaign we did, demand for local rice has also gone up, which is significant because it's not just a question of the production. A lot of shops who didn't stock local rice now do. I got calls from people who have rice shops saying they want local rice because people now come and ask for the local rice. In the meantime, one of the papers was reporting that some of the groups in the agri sector were asking the government to reconsider the way they selected the national best farmer. We'll find that story and bring it to you later.
Last week, there was a man from the Afram Plains who said that the selection criteria wasn't fair, and that people were supposed to come and inspect his farm. They said his farm was far. They didn't come to inspect his farm.
Maybe we can have a discussion about that.
The ministry released a statement to clear.
Maybe they should also have institutional farmers versus individual farmers, because now we are an institutional farmer. So on the institutional category, we should also be winning some prize. All right, now let's get, where do you go? International. There's a lot of stories about Donald Trump and things, unless you want to finish a few local stories.
So let's finish a few local stories.
Okay. Anything else?
If you check the front page of the Finder, Kofi Adumako is the new MD of GCB. Why is this important? GCB is about the biggest bank in the country.
Yes.
It has a new MD. So let me share that with you.
Why not?
The story says that the board of the Ghana GCB Bank Limited has announced the appointment of Mr. John Kofi Adumako as the new MD of the bank, effective November 9, 2020. So he begins work today. Mr. Adumako, an astute banker, replaces Mr. Ray Soa, who ended his tenure of office as the MD of the bank in September this year after more than 3 years in that position.
Okay.
Prior to his appointment, Kofi was the Director and Global Head, Project and Asset-Based Finance of the Africa Exports and Import Bank, headquarters in Cairo.
Africa Exim Bank. Okay.
Yes, and he brings to this role over 25 years of banking experience within Africa,
all right,
15 of which have been at the executive management level.
Citi FM climaxes 16th anniversary with Thanksgiving service at Citi. I like that rhyme, Citi. It was a moment of praise and thanksgiving when management and staff of Citi FM joined congregants of Cedar Mountain Chapel at East Legon on Sunday on our 16th anniversary celebration. The church service was led by our radio pastor, Stephen Yenusom Wenga. Beautiful service,
very beautiful,
great music. And I want to say good morning to she's celebrating a birthday today actually, so Eddie Nambride Davis. Charlie, she sang some song, the angels came down.
Oh,
yeah.
Happy birthday, Eddie Nambride.
We have some nice message from the husband I'll release later on. Okay. Now, the story from the US, Kokui, is that Joe Biden is president. Yes. Now, let me give you some quick headlines. If you go to CNN, they say Trump's inner circle divided over path after Biden's victory. Jared Kushner, who is his son-in-law, and Melania Trump, his wife, have advised him to accept the 2020 election loss. Sources say his adult sons are pressing on him to keep fighting. Okay. Then there's a story here. Kamala Harris represents a new face of political power. So it's a good read. Try it out. If you go to the New York Times, their lead story, as Biden plans for day one, GOP, which is the Republican Party, navigates Trump's refusal to concede. They don't know what to do, whether to beg him to concede or advise him to concede. Then the BBC says Biden pushes forward with plans for Oval Office, and it says coronavirus pandemic, the economy, racism, and climate change are his top four. Already, he's already moving. I'm told he's already having meetings and things. So that's the US for you in terms of what happened over the week.
On the local front, well, we've
Yes.
got a couple of perspectives as well here. To the publisher, Akufo-Addo Rawlings congratulate U.S. President-elect Joe Biden as Mahama looks forward to working with him. So the president, Akufo-Addo, joined world leaders to
Obiara didn't
congratulate
want
him. Chale. So yes, they congratulated him on his victory in this year's elections.
Yeah.
He said, I also congratulate Senator Kamala Harris on becoming the first woman vice president-elect of the United States.
Yeah.
He's hopeful that President-elect Joe Biden's tenure of office will be marked by the delivery of unity, security, progress, and prosperity to all Americans. Former President John Mahama says he's looking forward to working with President-elect Joe Biden and his Vice President-elect Kamala Harris.
Okay.
And in the Herald, Nana Kumia's 2016 prophetic words
That issue
on
will come
American
up
election.
today.
We'll talk about that today.
Now,
The parallels.
Kamala says she's the first woman vice president. She's not going to be the last.
Yes.
But Engineer Mahama says I should read a message to Kokui.
Hey.
Good morning, Bernard. Please read this for Kokui. What shall it profit us now to beat Man U 1-0 and succumb to 3-0 defeat at home to Aston Villa?
Guys.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
On every street, in every town, and all across